Hey everybody, today we're going to look at how we divide two fractions. If you look at the box above, we can see that we have two fractions. The first one is a over b and the second one c over d. Now the box explains how we divide fractions. The first fraction remains as a over b, so in other words that stays the same. And in order to divide by c over d, we now multiply by d over c. So in other words, in order to divide two fractions, the first fraction remains the same and we multiply by the second fraction turned upside down, and we call that the inverse fraction. Okay, let's look at some examples. So first of all, if we had 3/4 divided by 2/3. Okay, so if we divide these two fractions, let's see what happens. So as we said before, the first fraction here remains the same, so that's 3/4. And now what we're going to do is we're going to multiply by the second fraction here, turned upside down. So the 3 goes to the top and the 2 goes to the bottom, so we're going to multiply by 3 over 2. Now to multiply two fractions, as we've seen before, we multiply the two top numbers, our numerators, and that's going to give us the answer 9. And we then multiply the two bottom numbers, or denominators, and that's going to give us the answer 8. And that means 9 divided by 8, and 8 goes into 9 once, with 1/8 left over. Okay, if we look at a second example now, let's consider if we had 6, a whole number, divided by 2/5. Now, when we look at the number 6, it doesn't look like what we've got here in the box, a over b, but there's a very simple trick we can use for any whole number. We can write 6 as 6 over 1, or 6 divided by 1, which is 6. Now we use the same rules. Instead of dividing, we now multiply, and we turn the second fraction upside down, or get the inverse of that fraction. So the 5 now goes to the top and the 2 goes to the bottom. And again, to multiply these two fractions, we multiply the two top numbers, our numerators. 6 times 5 will give us 30. Divided by, we then multiply the two bottom numbers, here and here, or the two denominators. And that's going to give us 1 times 2, which is 2. And this expression is 30 over 2, or 30 divided by 2, which is 15. So to recap, to divide two fractions, the first fraction stays the same, and we multiply by the inverse of the second fraction, which means multiply by the second fraction turned upside down.